Welcome everybody to the land of no traffic, no congestions, no delays, the ideal world that Los Angeles citizens think that could be, but I don't think it's ever been that way. I spent my time getting here to set up earlier for what usually is a 20-minute trip. It was like a 57-minute trip, and our speakers got here and they were delayed for an hour. So I want to welcome everybody to the Transit Coalition dinner meeting. Transit Coalition is a nonprofit. We do educational programs such as tonight. We have several programs coming up next month. We have Jeanette Owen from Metro's Regional Rail. Helps plan some of the rail lines for Los Angeles County Metro. In January we have the Valley to West LA Rail Project. In February we've got the head of Metrolink coming. So we've got a good speakers program. We also do transportation advocacy, goods movement, and land use planning. And so we keep things busy going on. Tonight our presentation is on the progress of the train to the plane. Years ago, I mean, it's like I'm seeing all these things in reality. We used to have these meetings at LAX have t-shirts from 2002 get to LAX now, and we spent a beginning of the Transit Coalition. We tracked everybody down why the trains never got to LAX, and we found out it just simply ran out of money. It was expensive projects. They were $250 million short. The EIR was done, and then there was all these side interferences, like how could the rail line get by runway 24 and 25, I think, because there was magnetic things, and we would show them pictures of Moffett Field and how the trains went right by there, and Moffett Field had a higher level of issues in terms of safety. But finally, I guess, what, 6, 8, 10 years ago, things got working properly at Los Angeles International Airport, and we finally got the Crenshaw line designed, and then later on Paul's going to talk about the 96th Street station, which is a gateway station that serves between the rail. And then Stephanie and Bill are going to talk about and Laura too, going to talk about the automated people mover and all the elements of the airport. It just seems over the years we always used to think about the people mover, and it has 5 needs. It has the need to serve the people going to the hotels, people going to the car rental places, the employees coming in and out of the airport, travelers itself, and then there's, I mentioned this rental cars. So it's got a bunch of different uses, and finally we came to the point where these things are all coming alive. Both projects got funded. So tonight I want everybody to introduce themselves so Paul and Stephanie and Bill and Laura can know who you are. And we have technical, if you have any technical questions, we've got major depth in terms of the bench and answering technical questions. So why don't we start with introductions with Dr. Well, thank you everybody. One of our sponsors is CDM Smith with Mr. Jensen, so why don't you tell us about CDM Smith for a minute?
I'll be brief because this is the really good stuff. We're a full-service environmental consulting firm. Probably a lot of you know us. I just find this very interesting because we work both for LA Metro and for LAWA. I've been working on LAWA projects since about 2000. And as I mentioned, we worked on environmental work for the LAMP, and we're currently working on the ATMP, which is the Airfield Terminal Modernization Project, which involves facilities that will make use of the people mover and connect to it. And we're looking at some other facilities and roadway improvements around LAX. So we're looking forward to hearing next time.
And we thank you for your sponsorship also. So now that I know the order, Paul is going to talk first. Paul has been involved with the Rosa Parks station redesign, and he's been working his kids kept calling me and saying, where is he? We haven't seen him for 2 weeks. But he's been working 24/7 on that project, and now with the trains running again, it's even harder. And in addition to that, he's been working on the 96th Street station on the Crenshaw line. So why don't you, and then I'll do the other, Stephanie Sampson is the communications director for Los Angeles World Airports. And Bill is the design director, is that it?
Design manager.
Design manager.
Of the APM fixture.
So this whole project is coming together. Both agencies are working hand in hand. And Paul's going to explain this from his point of view in Metro. And I don't know whether we should, if there's technical questions, we have technical people, so maybe we should probably do both presentations. If anybody has an 8:10 Amtrak train, let me know. But otherwise, we'll go at a relaxed pace. So that way everybody gets their questions asked, because I know there's a lot of questions because everybody's been coming up to me. So now, Paul, why don't you come on up and give you a part of it, and then Stephanie will come and we'll go from there. Thank you.
Hello. Hi, my name is Paul Wang. I've been with Metro now for almost 9 years. I was a practicing architect for 15 years in the private sector before that, and 7 of it with Perkins and Will. So when I came over, I started out as a supervising architect, and project started. It was kind of like what I expected, which was like bus facilities. I got to design the Metro Rapid bus shelters, things like that. But then something happened, like 5 years ago, all of a sudden we started getting like joint development projects. And it was getting really exciting about all the opportunities that had to do with design. And so I'm not sure if you're aware of the passageway at the block, which is the first direct connection to station and from private sector. So that was my project. And then One Santa Fe, which is the development, the residential development over here in the Arts District, which was like the first major development. To spur that development was also, the Metro portion was mine. And so, sliding into project management, they decided, well, okay, let's get you in the rail. And so Willowbrook Rosa Parks is where the blue line and the green line intersect. And that project just opened up, along with the blue line. I'm sorry, it's the A line now. Okay. The opening of the A line, and that project is still ongoing, and we're really excited about it because it really serves an underserved community. So we're coinciding with that. I'm also the project manager or design director for the AMC project on behalf of Metro. It's been a great project. Just to provide a little context on that, I came on about 15% into the design. So it sounds like you guys are all very familiar how Metro works. So it starts in the planning department, moves to the design construction department, and then finally to actual construction. So I am in program management, which is part of the design, development, and construction document development portion of the agency. And so I came on about 15%. So I learned a lot about the project very fast. First part was, it was never part of the Crenshaw line. It was not part of the original Crenshaw line. So this project came in afterwards, which meant we had to deal with tracks that were already designed, a location that was already fitted out for something that was not meant to have a station. So also the history of this was like, it was originally supposed to be thought of bus rapid transit option. It was also thought of as possibly going underground. And so it was really interesting, and it has come on, and then as I moved through planning and past the EIR process, so Groen and Crenshaw, which is a partnership, came on, they started designing. When I came on at the 15%, 3 directives, 3 very clear directives. One was, this project is going to have to deal with the Crenshaw line. So not only in construction, but when I came on, it was expected to have been operational and in public operations prior to construction. Second, there is this APM. And there was, my understanding, there was a directive by the board that our projects were supposed to be unified. It's not supposed to look like 2 different things, it's supposed to look like one unified project. So that was the second, and the third was 2023. They burned into my head 2023. That's when it was going to open. and that was when the Olympics were going to be here in 2024. Date's changed, but my deadline has not. So it's 2023 still. Okay, so let's get this started. So the site was former Hertz distribution, or the Hertz car main maintenance facility. So, and there was a clean energy sign onto it. There was talk originally that the station would be related to Centurion Aviation, but this site is slightly northeast of LAX, with Arborvitae on the north, Century on the south, and Aviation Boulevard. So, and Crenshaw, obviously Crenshaw line to the west. Oh, I almost skipped that. That's schedule stuff. So, as the project developed, it was originally designed to be multimodal. So it's going to be bus, active transportation, which started out as bike, but now we got scooters, also micro transit items, and of course the Crenshaw Line station. It was going to have a direct connection to the APM station, and also have a private vehicle drop-off. So everything, it was supposed to meet everything. So this, as it developed further, this bus plaza, for instance, became a terminal station. So this is going to be a very main point in our bus service on the west side. So, okay, so this is when I came on, and this is at 30%. So what you see here is the original track layout. So straightforward tracks. We had a 3-platform design, bus plaza, main hub, and then a smallish bike hub. So we were developing this, and this is the second floor, which is the main hub. It was always the intention that there was a central point between all the modals, so that it would be easy to connect to all 5 points. But the design was set. So at 30%, we started moving into details, and we're ready to go. Now, of course, at this time, APM had not yet brought on their developer. So we're kind of moving forward. We've got our schedule. We want to be there. And we were really gearing up for our detailed set, and really waiting for APM and their developer to come on board to coordinate. So that's what it looked like. So that was the bird's eye view perspective of the station. So we just put this in as a temporary placeholder for the APM, to represent the APM, and we really start to dig in and start detailing. That's what it looks like today. And I'm going to go into details now. So what happened at 30% was when APM brought their developer on board, and Metro was starting to get a better understanding of the Crenshaw line. So, understanding the schedule, Metro came to us and said, you have to build this without any shutdowns or any single tracking of the Crenshaw line. So, I don't know how we were going to build our station platform when you got 2 full northbound, southbound trains going almost 24/7. That was the first part. The second part is, with the APM developer on board, several outside third party stated that our original design needed to mesh more with the proposed design from the APM developer. So this is what it looks like today, but I'm going to show you what happened with the plan. So when the Crenshaw line came to us and says, you can't build this station, you cannot shut down any portion of the line, we were kind of stuck, because there's no way we were going to make the schedule and build our platform. So what we decided to do was we were going to build a shoe fly. So that is in process right now. We've got the contractor on board. We're scheduled now to build the shoe fly. So I didn't have the graphic for it, but the shoe fly is basically still on site. It's all on our property. It's not going to the public. But what that did is it now frees up the Crenshaw line. No trains running, and now we can build our station platform. So that allowed us to do phased construction, which is we're going to build everything on the Crenshaw line right away first. once that's done, we're going to put the Crenshaw line service back on the main line and then build the rest of the station. So that's all the first problem. That's the second floor. A side note, once the shoe flight came on, so like I said, I'm an architect and I like to design. And the original 3 platform of the station was going to be a nightmare to maintain. So we're tripling the maintenance. And if you are a visitor, say from another country or from out of state, and you come in, it's really hard to tell which platform to go to, northbound, southbound. It was really, really hard. So we took the opportunity for the shoe flight to really relook at the station design, and we came up with a single platform idea, which is the largest light rail platform in the whole system, and it's 40 feet wide, and it's still going to perform the same way, and there's no delay due to the track weight configuration and everything. So that is the main hub. There's really no main change, except we also did an analysis of the commercial potential for this project, and it turned out that there wasn't really much. So we had a lot of extra spaces for future tenants, commercial tenants, and it was going to be wasted space. So we reduced it by half, and we enlarged the multimodal hub based on all the recent developments in microtransit. So here is the bike hub. We call it the bike hub. It's 3 floors. It will have bike storage. It will have a bike vendor. It has a second floor of private storage and direct entrance off of aviation. So this is aviation. This is at the south end. And you can see the train on the Crenshaw line and the circulation up. This is the exterior. I wish we had an exterior of the 30%, because it really is more highly detailed, much more sophisticated than what we had before. But this is the face of our transit station. This is the interior, this is looking north towards the bus plaza. So this is the main entrance from the public on the ground. This is our customer service, where the passengers can get information, actually buy tap tickets, etc. And that is looking out over the bus plaza. That's another shot of it. So this is our light rail platform as it is today. So you're going to notice the roof and how it bends. It's because the APM tracks are going right over here, right over us. So that's it. So that perspective is standing here looking this way. So this is how we're going to have to integrate. We have to build that guideway and that APM station first, so that we can go underneath and build our station. So it's we are in heavy planning stages in coordination with construction right now, and it's going really well. This is the bus plaza, looking at the center. 16 bus bays, and by the time this is operational, all of our buses will be electric. So we're trying to figure out how many electric charging stations we're going to need. This is just explaining, so this is it. So we have the shoe fly, that is the first phase. And then we're going to do the phase 1 work area, which is basically the station and some utility, some back of house buildings. Then once phase 1 work is done, we're going to put the Crenshaw line back in service, and then phase 2. All while the APM guideway is still being constructed. It's going to be really busy there. And again, that's, now someone told me that it worked when they did it, it didn't work when I did it. I think, okay, it's working. So I'm going to end with the animation that we released. So we are at the north. We're just coming down from Arvida. We're now going through the center of West Plaza. By the way, our project is design, bid, build. and we are looking into, it's currently out on the streets right now as an RFQ. So this, just another side note, the Central Plaza area is one of the options that we're looking at as a potential stop for the Sepulveda line. So even though in the images it really looks like an interior, a very large space, it's actually not. This is open air. It is not air conditioned, for instance. It is open on both ends. Up on the left, that's the APM track.
But there's a clear ceiling?
There is a clear story.
Can rain come through?
No, there's a clear story, and it is a standing seam stainless steel roof. So it's basically, imagine a canopy, like an extreme large canopy.
We have heat lamps? Heating of some kind?
Heating? No.
It does get cold down there, according to Californians.
Yeah. No, we don't have any provisions for heating. We're fairly comfortable that it's going to be a nice space. So this is now going down into the platform. This is looking southbound on the Crenshaw line. Again, the roof, as it cuts down because the APM is going over us. So now we're at the kind of the north end of the hub. We are looking up at the APM. That is where the direct connection is going to be. It's on what we could, I guess, we're actually finalizing the name of it. It's called the concourse level. And what you saw was actually kind of looking this way, and at the end are these stairs. At the,
Why there's so many trees?
Actually, LAWA has a tree minimum requirement, and we are helping them achieve a certain amount of trees planted.
So is this sort of like the people mover at Dallas Airport?
You know, I'm not familiar with the people. I know it's similar to the one in Miami. I was on the APM at the Miami one, and that's it. So thank you. Stephanie's going to come up. Yes.
I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
You talked about shutting down the Crenshaw line.
Uh-huh.
So it's going to be running for a while, and then you'll shut it down for a while, and then it'll run again.
Yeah. Well. So right now, the way we're expecting it is that the shoe fly will be done before it is actually open to the public.
Okay.
So it's going to open on the shoe fly, and then when it comes down to when we have to switch the
presenting the future of LAX.
when we switch it back to the Crenshaw line, we will have to shut it down, and there will be bus bridging.
The Crenshaw line opens in about 6 months, and you're done with your construction.
Oh, the shoe fly.
Okay.
But you can do the transfer from the shoe fly back to a regular one if all the construction's done, what, on a long weekend?
No,
A lot
because
more than that?
yeah, because well, you got the construction, right? So you got the removal of it. But there's a lot of systems, a lot of communication stuff that's not part of like tracks, OCS, and then we have to test. That's the key part. So testing, making sure that the line's operating correctly.
My next question is, in your video, it looked nice and sparse, but how many people would be going through per hour? It seemed like it could be
Thousands?
crowds.
It could be. I think the numbers that were, last I heard was maybe at peak 5,000 per hour. But,
And you can accommodate the, like, the peak?
yeah. So coming through the rail. Remember, this is not aimed to be a private vehicle drop-off. This is aimed to be for public transportation use through bus and through rail mostly, and through microtransit. So that's
There's a private car drop-off somewhere else in there along the
Well,
People moving?
I'm gonna let Stephanie answer that one. So we are in coordination with that. So, you know, oh, okay, I'll handle it on my side, you handle it on your side, that kind of a deal.
Where does rideshare fit into that?
I can speak to that.
Yeah.
I'll speak to that. Yeah.
Just, I'm curious about the ticketing or the transfer itself. Is it a one-ticket ride, or are there fare gates to get to the APM, or?
APM is gonna be free.
Yes.
Free, okay.
Yes.
And will you be able to go through security on this side, or you still have to go through TSA in the airport?
TSA in the airport.
Everything's landside.
Okay, all right.
Alright. So a quick preview of the video, but I'm going to show you a quick video. So our project is a $5.5 billion project, and the people mover obviously is the spine of the system. It is really the major component. It was a $4.9 billion 30-year contract, which the city awarded, the largest contract ever awarded in our city's history. It's a public-private partnership. So LAX, LAX Integrated Express Solutions, is designing, building, financing, operating, and maintaining for a 30-year period. 5 years of design and construction, 25 years of operation and maintenance, and when they hand the system back to us in 30 years, it will be brand new, top of the line, and not an outdated system. So I'm going to show the video first.
Presenting the future of LAX. Easier, faster, more efficient. Get to your plane on time without the stress. Easily transfer between terminals. Quickly access your rent-a-car or connect with Metro Light Rail. All this becomes a reality with the new automated people mover. Relax above traffic and enjoy the view. Go from Metro to your terminal in 10 minutes or less. Trains arrive every 2 minutes. Easy on, easy off. Construction begins in 2018 with completion in 2023. It's the easier, faster, more efficient future of LAX. Learn more by visiting flylax.com.
Okay, and obviously the traffic you saw as the people mover went by is Sunday before Thanksgiving. So really busy no matter what you have. So I know we joke about the video because the whole point is to improve traffic flow, and you see a lot of traffic. So let me pull up the PowerPoint. So just to start, this is the view you're going to see as it crosses Century Boulevard. So this is an elevated guideway system. It's 50 to 75 feet in the air, depending where you are along the route, and goes 2¼ miles. So this is as it crosses Century and then hooks over towards Sepulveda and into the central terminal area. So this is the entire landside access modernization program. So this is $5.5 billion worth of project right here. So main one being the automated people mover. That is the blue line you see here. So this is our central terminal area. You have terminals 1, 2, 3 on the north, Tom Bradley on the west, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the south side. And then you can see the train goes right down the center of the airport and around the theme building. In the terminal area, there are 3 stations total. The west station, center station, and the east station. And then you have the blue lines here, which are the pedestrian bridges that connect from the station to the terminals themselves. The train heads out across Sepulveda, crosses Century, and goes in between the Sheraton and the H Hotel, and then hooks the right and goes down 96th Street all the way to our consolidated rent-a-car facility. So this big purple area right here, this is a 6.3 million square foot facility. We have a station that connects to the rental car center right here. We have a station above aviation, which connects to Metro, so that is right here. And then the third station is connected to our intermodal transportation facility west, which is really just a big term for our parking structure. So 3 stations inside, 3 stations outside. You have the maintenance and storage facility located right off 96th and Airport. And then along with this project are several roadway improvements. So 2 of them that are pretty key we like to point out are this road right here. This is an entirely new road that is called Jetway Boulevard that will connect Westchester Parkway all the way to Century. That is what gives you the access to that parking structure, as well as will give another traffic point off of Sepulveda, so will help alleviate a lot of that congestion. 98th Street right here ends at Belanca. Right now, we are working to move a lot of the utilities that are underground, and then we are going to lower Aviation Boulevard, build the roadway under the metro lines, extend all the way to the 405 freeway, where we'll have new on and off ramps for the southbound side of the freeway. That is what will also give you that direct connection into our rental car facility.
And that's
So-
aviation, you said?
This is Aviation, this is 98th Street. So we're lowering Aviation to extend 98th Street. Okay. So this is more into the people mover and the project scope for the APM team. So you can see again the line as it goes down Center Way and the stations here, pedestrian walkways, and then I know it's a little hard in the back to see, but more renderings, and we'll go through it on the next few slides.
So those airport stations are above the top floor of the parking garages?
Yes. It's kind of a third level to the airport now. So this is the LAX you know and love, maybe hate. Hopefully you don't hate it too much. But this is a photo from last week, so you can see you have the cranes and you have materials here putting in the foundation work. And that's right where the train will go through. And then in just a few years, we will transform our central terminal area into a facility that is fully connected. So again, you can see how the train is above here, and you can see how those stations sit above the parking structures. The center station you see right here is built on top of parking structure 2A and 2B. And then the west station is built between parking structures 3 and 4. The west station, you can't see it's off here, is between 1 and 7. And then you can see these pedestrian bridges here that connect from the stations to the terminals. 60% of the pedestrian bridges have moving sidewalks, so wherever we can put them, we do. There is some issue with clearance over World Way, so we can't put the pedestrian bridges in that short frame there. And of course, where you have the angles here, it's difficult, so we won't have sidewalks, moving sidewalks there. So the people mover system, so 2¼ miles total. So from that rental car facility to the west station you see off in the distance, that is 2¼ miles, and it's 10 minutes end to end. So you now have time guaranteed access for how long it will take you to get into the terminal area. I know it can take 45 minutes during peak time to kind of circle and find your way around, so this will now provide you that direct link and timed guarantee access. It is free to ride, so you asked the question about how much it is. Free. You have to pay for your metro ticket, but you can hop on this train for free, and not only if you're coming for a flight, but if you're bringing a loved one or a friend. So we have new off-site facilities where you can park short-term, hop on the train, ride with them to security, and say goodbye. Each train, which is 4 train cars during peak operations, can hold 200 passengers with luggage. As you saw in the video, very wide doors, level boarding, ADA accessible and compliant. Each train will have surveillance, which will be monitored out of our security area and our maintenance facility as well. During peak operations, every 2 minutes you have a train coming into that station. So that's 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. And during off-peak operations, it can range from 2 minutes, 15 seconds to 4. So again, still not that much of a difference in timing. And operating 24/7, 365. And I mentioned that contract, that public-private contract, public-private partnership for the contracting model. So we're the first one to do this in California. And we're really excited about how it is integrating the local economy and workforce development as part of it. During design and construction, it's a 30% local hire requirement. So we're really investing in our local neighbors to make sure they're helping build this system. So construction activities. We're very excited because we finally started actual construction work for the people mover. A couple weeks ago, we put the first foundations in the ground, which can go up to 99 feet. This one you see here is at our ITF West, our Intermodal Transportation Facility parking site. The casing for this one is 60 to 70 feet, 70 feet. So what we use is the oscillator method, the dry pile method. So we oscillate the casing into the ground to the desired depth. So as we do that, we're pulling dirt out. And then you can see us adding on the casing. So again, 70 feet. That casing there is 20 feet long and 7 feet in diameter for this one. They range up to 11 feet in diameter, depending on where they are along the route. We will be having over 260 of these piles put into the ground to hold up the guideway itself. Once the casing is into the desired depth, we put in the rebar cage, and that is what you see in this image. And then we start piping in the concrete to fill that pile And this is what you see once we've finished filling the pile. You still have about 10 to 15 feet where it's below grade, and then we come back in, we put another cage on top, fill it to grade, and then once that's set, we come back and start doing the column work. So what we're doing is we've done piles at the ITF West parking structure area and in the CTA, the Central Terminal area, right between parking structures 1 and 7, south side of Center Way. We are going to build the first column at that location in the terminal area. So in the next week or two, couple weeks, you'll start seeing the columns come to life. And we're also starting the foundation work for the maintenance facility and parking structure. Once we have those piles, those foundations in place, this is going to show you how we're going to construct it over the next couple of years. So first, you're just going to see later this year, early next year, the actual columns coming above the ground. Then you will see the platform, the train platform and the guideway itself start to be put in place, followed by the station, and then we will have the base to the pedestrian bridge, and then lastly, this is what you will see in 2022. Construction will be completed at that point. And then what we're going to do, like our friends at Metro, is test our system. So for 6 months, 9 months to a year, we will be testing the system. You will see trains running with many people on them, but not passengers. So 2022 is when you'll see that construction completed. So this is, I'm going to go through the renderings of each of the stations. So this is the West CTA station. So if you're exiting Tom Bradley, you are walking to this viewpoint right here. So this is that pedestrian bridge that connects over World Way. You're greeted by an 800 square foot LED screen that we can program. Obviously we were very excited about the Olympics, so we're focused on that. To the right over here, there's exhibit space where we can have events. So something we look forward to hosting down the road, different events, possibly for the Olympics, a welcome reception. This is the center CTA station, so you can see how the guideway splits to pull into each of the stations. For the design, you can see this thin roof. Open air stations, we have a mid-century modern aesthetic. So the entire system integrates those kind of design elements into the facade, as well as the terminal vertical cores which connect the terminals to the pedestrian bridges. Those will have the same design elements as well. This is a view of the east station looking towards the southwest. So you can see again how the trains split here at the station, open air element, and then that's just another viewpoint of it. The Intermodal Transportation Facility West, which will have a new name when it opens. We're just going to continue to call it this very long name. This facility will add 4,500 parking stalls to our airport. To give you some comparison, in the terminal area right now, our parking structures hold 8,300 spots. So adding 4,500 is a significant gain for us. It will have short and long-term parking, meet and greet space, valet parking. We have the potential to build out concession area for this. And what we're going to do in this facility, which opens in 2021, I should say 2021, we will shuttle passengers to and from the facility to the terminal area, and then in 2023 the People Mover station comes online and all the shuttling goes away. We mentioned Uber, Lyft, different modes of transportation. You can see there's busing out front here, and in a couple other renderings you'll see some other areas where we can potentially move vehicles. So we're studying the different modes of transportation that enter the airport, whether it's hotel, parking, limo, tour bus, anything like that, Uber and Lyft. We're studying it. We're going to make decisions closer to opening, but we have the facilities at this ITF West facility and the station over Aviation, called the ITF East, which will allow for commercial curb space, surface parking, and circulation roads. So, yeah.
So theoretically, drop off and pick up, it would be at this facility instead of people going through the loop?
Yeah, it most likely will be. Let me go back to this rendering right here. So this is the ITF West, green and pink area right here. These are circulation roads and commercial curb. This is surface parking lot. Same thing here, circulation roads, a turnaround, and a surface parking lot. So these are the two areas where we're looking at moving a lot of those modes out. We'll make a decision closer to the opening of these facilities, but we're talking to our stakeholders, trying to figure out what makes the most sense. We know that the Hyatt prefers to drive their shuttle buses into the terminal area because they're in such close proximity. The Renaissance, which is over here, wants to pick up at the ITF West. But are we gonna piecemeal it? We don't know what we're gonna have as our solution yet, so we're working on that, and as we get closer, we'll.
And all the off-site rental cars will go in the consolidated garage,
Yes.
so everybody will just be there anyway.
Yep. Let me get back to you. Okay. Maintenance and storage facility. So automated train, no one is actually driving the train. It's all controlled out of this facility. The main office and operations is here. You have a train wash, you have solar everywhere you see blue, so it's a structure that's going for the LEED Gold rating. We have reclaimed water for the train wash, we have bike storage, showers for employees, so really making sure it's a sustainable project. This is where all of the trains will get checked, stored. It's the only area where it comes down to grade level. So this is 96th Street, and you can see how the trains will come down and work their way around to be serviced or washed. The intermodal transportation facility east, so the west was our big term for a parking structure. This is our big term for a surface parking lot. So now you get a better idea of the spacing here. So we have bus bays, we will have this parking area over here, you have the circulation road. So again, an area where we can move a lot of those modes out. This is looking west or north towards the metro station, off in the distance there. So we have a great plaza here where we could have entertainment, performances. We have this LED light screen there as well. Public art incorporated into this station and several of the others. This is another view of the east station looking towards the Conrack facility, the rental car facility. So that's over here to the east side. And then you have Aviation Boulevard. And the rental car facility. So yes, say goodbye to rental car shuttles. They are the only vehicle confirmed to be removed from our terminal area. That is because they no longer need to come to the terminal area. All of the operations will move into this facility. This will be the largest rental car facility in the world once it's completed. Quite large, 6.3 million square feet. So you remember that purple area on the map, 6.3 million square feet. So the main structure itself, which is right here when you get off the people mover, this is basically the customer area where you can rent cars, 18,000 rental car vehicles. Every 2 seconds during peak operations, a car will leave that facility. And we are the #2 rental car market of any U.S. airport behind Orlando, so we know the rental car market is there. But we've also future-proofed this facility as well as several others. So if we are seeing a dip in the rental car market, we can claw back space for commercial development. We are also going above and beyond the code requirements for electrical vehicle charging. So if we start seeing rental car fleets go more EV friendly, all we have to do is drop in an actual charging station there, the infrastructure's there. And when autonomous vehicles are the new normal, it will already have GPS installed, so we don't need to go back, tear out what's there, and put in that infrastructure. This is also a public-private partnership. LAX Conrack Partners is building it. It's a 28-year contract, and there are 7 companies representing 14 brands going into this facility when it opens in 2023. And that is the future of LAX. So just a few more years, we'll have a fully connected airport to Metro, which we're very excited about, and be a lot easier to get in and out. So happy to answer questions. Yes?
I'm confused about the public-private partnership aspect, since there's no revenue from the passengers. So what is the source of
Funding?
profit for the company?
So a lot of our funding for infrastructure projects comes from federal funding, federal bonds, but the majority of it comes from the passenger facility charge on your airline ticket. So if the next time you fly, you take a look at the fees, the PFC is what goes to the airport to fund that. Okay. The parking structure, that ITF West parking structure, it's parking revenue. It helps pay for that. As well as the rental car facility, there's a concessionary lease agreement. So it's based out of the leasehold there.
So it's a reason you need a private party that they're fronting the construction and Metro's not?
Yes, our project, the parking structure is just a regular design build project. The People Mover and the rental car facility are both the public-private partnership. So it's a new contracting model. It's a way you're starting to see a lot of infrastructure projects started and completed. It allows for schedule certainty and takes the risk off of us as the airport. So if
they put up the construction money, and then they're paid back through airline.
They're paid back through milestone payments, which come from either federal funding or from passenger facility charges. So they have to hit different milestones. So if they're not hitting their scheduled dates, then they're not getting a full payment. If they're not hiring 30% local hire, they're not going to get their full payment. So really, it puts the risk on them as the developer to really deliver on time and everything.
So what does local mean?
Local hire, there's a airport impact area, so there's a certain zip code around the airport that is put into the airport impact area. So they have to hire from a certain area that falls into that zip code. So there's several different ones: Inglewood, El Segundo, Westchester, Hawthorne. There's a full area that is covered by that.
Previously, a lot of this could never get done because airport fees could only be used for airport construction. Does this sort of expand the definition of airport campus to these off-site facilities?
Yeah, it's
still
airport
included as
infrastructure
airport,
yes.
even though it's sort of a new campus?
Yeah, and so the rental car facility is more paid for by the concessionaire lease agreement, but the People Mover is a part of the airport, so that is paid for by the passenger fees. But yes. Any other questions I can answer?
I think there was a question earlier, somebody had asked, is this like the train in Dallas? And it is. It's a Bombardier vehicle. So it's the same train that they just implemented in Phoenix, Arizona at the Sky Harbor Airport, which is now at, I think it goes to Terminal 4 and 3, and it's going to be extended out to their consolidated rental car center. So it's the same vehicle. It's a Bombardier rubber tired vehicle. There's no electrical system above it. It's not a third rail either. It's kind of a proprietary system that they have where the traction power 700 volts DC, kind of like I think Crenshaw is the same 700 volt DC, and it's on a rail that sits in the middle of the vehicle.
Yeah, it was just to the Dallas one, which is really nice because almost everything from 3 feet up is glass, and the doors are really wide, and they just open up and people come and go really quickly.
Yeah.
So is there a...
Tony can speak to, Tony Gonzalez is here. He's our architect of record. So if you have any questions about, the architecture, he can also answer those.
Is there a contact shoe or rail, or is it similar to like JFK where it's maglev?
No, it's the rubber tired vehicle runs vehicle, but there's what they call a bogie that runs along the guide rail. So the vehicle is held on the guideway by the rail. So it has a very slender and sleek look. I think you could see that in the video.
Anything else? Oh.
I'm thinking of a question.
Okay.
One question.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
How many trains are actually going to be looping in the system?
We'll have 13. 13. And there will be one train that will be at the maintenance storage facility as a backup. So, but they'll be running 13 at a time.
So you have a total of 14 trains?
14 trains.
And the capacity of it is, we are, for a year, we can forecast 87 million passengers on the train. We don't expect that, obviously, because we're a car culture here, and never having connected to Metro, really. We're going to have to change some transportation patterns. So we really expect about 30 to 35 million in the first year or two, and then hopefully we get more people to see how easy it is to use. And also, it has a 10,000 passengers per hour capacity as well. So during peak operations, we can definitely move a lot of people in and out.
Plus, I Expo blew their predictions really quickly.
I'm sorry?
The Expo line for Metro blew their predictions really
We're
quickly.
like year 12 and year 2.
Well, that'd be great if we
It'd be
go
awesome.
above what we think. Yes.
Do you have something, evacuation for disaster?
Yeah, so we have done threat and vulnerability assessments as any major infrastructure project has done. We obviously have 24-hour surveillance, cameras on each train car. You have our airport police will actually extend their radius to the rental car facility, so you will have them on patrol. We are partnering with the City of Inglewood, CHP, and LAPD Pacific Division in case there is any kind of incident. We can't really tell you all of the ways we're making sure it's a safe facility, but one thing I can share is, for example, the type of glass we're using in the stations. If for some reason there was some type of blast, the type of glass we're using is the kind that can turn into the little tiny pieces instead of giant shards, so it can minimize that collateral damage. But a lot of what we're doing to make sure it's a safe system, we don't share publicly because, you know, we want to make sure no one knows.
Are there any lessons going on from the issues in Hong Kong with the airport that are applicable to LA? Because I know the protesters have been using sabotage for a lot of the airports and the transportations and things to the airport to impede stuff that's going on there.
I mean, I haven't heard of anything. We have protests at our airport frequently. We just had a big SEIU protest a month or so ago, and it was an all hands between the Pacific Division, our airport police, and LAFD to make sure we were prepared for the influx of people. And because they had a permit, we were able to know their plan of entering into the terminal area. So a lot of coordination went into that. But yeah, you know, we can't really forecast what will happen, but we do prepare for a lot of different scenarios to make sure we're trained and ready to go into action if needed.
So will private cars be allowed to drive in like they do now?
Yes, the plan right now is to allow that. We know a lot of people, especially older people or people with disabilities, are still concerned about having to ride the train, walk across the pedestrian bridge to get there. So yes, we're very keen on allowing private vehicles to still enter. It's more of the commercial vehicles that we're looking at moving out. Yes.
Is there a plan for the flyaway connected into this with changing routes or changing frequency?
Yeah, so we have 4 routes now. We got rid of our Westwood route, but especially heading into the Thanksgiving holiday and with our changes with LA Exit, which is our new taxi Uber pickup lot, we are also looking at different ways to highlight the flyaway and its service. So our plan is to continue having it come into the airport because it's one of our own vehicles and we want to give that ease of access. Heading into the holidays, we are in discussions with our bus operators to add more buses to increase the frequency. So when there's an hour lead time on some of those buses, we're trying to make it 30 minutes. We're trying to get that in place for Thanksgiving. But we know with construction impacts, it's very important that we create other options to access the airport. And so flyaway is definitely at one of the top of our list of improving.
Going back to the funding mechanism, is it clear that, is the developer allowed to accelerate their construction as fast as they can possibly go, or are you don't want to pay for the cost of borrowing?
I'm going to have Laura Ware from Links answer that because she can speak better to her contract.
So part of the construction of this project is it's already fairly accelerated, so there's a significant amount of time that we're spending on systems testing. So if you think about, we're getting started on our CIDH now, so it's late 2019. We start systems testing in 2022. We still have the guideway and stations to build as well as the fixed finishes on the interior. So we're already accelerating our construction.
And the funding's available to pay for that?
It was built into how we bid the job.
Yeah.
So this tight construction timeline that we had was already.
And the owner said they could fund. I mean, I was doing a P3 elsewhere, and the owner was very clear they didn't want us to accelerate it because they didn't want to pay for how much it would cost to accelerate it. And they knew that their funding could only come in at certain milestones, and therefore they didn't want to pay for anything to be accelerated.
But the P3 bundles the financing as the developer's responsibility.
Well, that's what I'm saying. On this particular one I was on, the owner, we offered, shall we accelerate it? And they said, no, don't. We don't want to pay the extra money up front. We can't afford to pay you any quicker.
I think we'll be excited if it finishes early on all fronts. I don't know how that affects the contract and the payments, but our mayor would love to have it several months early, and our groundbreaking mentioned that, and that kind of was the lead on the story. So if we get it early, that'd be great. You know, that's really, on time is really the goal. We don't want to be delayed. So if we can get it on time, that is the end game. But if we get it early, I don't think anyone will complain.
Yeah, you said 2023?
Yes.
Is there a particular month in 2023?
March. Yeah. That's all I'll give you, just March.
It was supposed to be for the August 24th Olympics, but.
Yeah. So by the time we do have the 2028 Olympics, we will be 5 years into it, well tested, all the kinks. We're not going to have any, but in case there are any, we will have worked all of those out in time. And the World Cup will be here in 2026, so the system will also be up and running for that.
Just a quick question for Crenshaw line. Is the 96th Street station near the Division 16 yard?
It's right next to it. The Division 16 is right adjacent to the AMC station. In fact, back of house buildings for the AMC station are going to be built on the southwest yard.
Okay.
So the parking, the car rental facility is that huge
Manchester
triple
Square.
football place of dirt that's
Yes,
just all been
Manchester
cleared,
Square,
where all the
between La
houses were,
Cienega, Arbor Vitae, Aviation,
all those
and
houses were
Century.
torn down
Yeah.
and sat abandoned
Yep.
forever.
Mhm.
So,
Yep, yep, and they're gonna have their first cranes arrive in February. Right now, they're finishing the cutting and capping of utilities. They're demolishing one more building, and then they will start grading it and preparing for foundation work.
2 weeks ago, I dropped off a rental car and had a flight. It took an hour and 17 minutes to get from the rental car place to the curb.
What time did you come?
Like Tuesday morning at 9
Oh,
with
well,
all the construction.
I was expecting you to say Sunday night,
No.
because that's our busiest, so that's unfortunate.
2 hours before she.
Has anyone used LA Exit? Or taxi, you have?
Nightmare.
Nightmare. When did you use it?
It was very shortly after it opened.
Okay, I would suggest trying it again, because we made significant improvements to adjust. We know the first few days was very rocky. We've expanded a lot. We've separated Uber and Lyft. We've added new queuing for the Lyft area. There's a serpentine queuing going on. We've changed the route, so Uber is separated from Lyft even on entering into the loop, or into the lot. And we've added more busing, especially heading into the holiday weekend. We're very focused on making sure operations are smoother.
So I guess, and you may have addressed it, but what I noticed coming in is the same people coming into the airport to drop off family or whatever were battling the Ubers coming into the lot. Is that been addressed?
Well, there's only one entrance now for Uber. So it's
Still
off
off Century?
96th Street. No, it's off 96th Street. Lyft comes in off Little Century, and Uber comes in with the taxis off 96th, the flyover on a Skyway. So we did make that adjustment, and that was when we expanded the lot, which was last Tuesday. So I would suggest you try it again. All of the shuttle times have been 11 minutes or less, or you can walk if you want, and then all of the wait times for taxi, Uber, and Lyft have been primarily no wait at all, or 10 minutes or less.
So since when you call Uber and Lyft, you're talking to an individual sort of driver in a car, how do they find you?
This system goes to a PIN system.
Okay.
So when you call your ride, instead of getting a certain driver, you get a PIN code. And so what you do is you get to the lot, you're told which way to go if you're Uber or Lyft. So if you're Uber, you walk into the one of 3 Uber lines, so we have 3 different queuing areas. You wait for the next available car, and you show your PIN to the Uber driver, they punch it in, they know where you're going, and you're on your way. So instead of having to look for the same white Prius everyone's looking for, you just do it by a PIN code, so first come, first served.
So all the drivers have to take people wherever they want to go
They're supposed to,
regardless?
yeah, and if they don't, we hear about it, so.
Okay.
And we're in daily conversations with Uber and Lyft, because we want to make sure that that's not occurring. Yes?
That's got to be a fairly unique situation. So do you know what other airports or locations have that kind of thing, and what process did you have to go to allow that to happen?
San Francisco has it. Didn't go so well when they opened either, so we were kind of able to learn a little bit. We've had contingency plans since we opened it, and have been able to adjust. And really, we're very focused on making this work because it's going to be in place until 2023. And that is because we are losing 30% of our curbside boarding area over the next 2 years for construction of the terminal vertical cores, which are what connect to those pedestrian bridges to the stations. So we don't have the space for them. What we've seen is an improvement in the traffic in the terminal area. We had 2,000 less vehicles enter, which is about 15% less for the day, which was the goal, 15% vehicle reduction today from last week. So we're seeing that improvement. We've looked at LaGuardia, who was having heavy construction on one of their terminals, and it was so bad that they had people parking on the freeway, getting out and walking alongside the freeway to get to their flights because the backup from construction was so bad they could not get in. We don't want that to happen at our airport. We're heading into the holiday season. It's going to be bad in general. There's the Sunday after Thanksgiving, it's the Sunday. Sunday after, Sunday before, it's going to be bad. No matter what we do, you're going to have a ton of people coming to the airport. But what we can do is try and adjust as we move forward. And so taking out the Uber, Lyft, and taxi pickup has helped, freed up the curbside area that we need for construction. And so, you know, we're going to do different mitigation measures. Parking structure 3, right now, you can go pick up people for free on the lower level. So if people are coming in from Tom Bradley or Terminal 3, you can go drive into a pickup lot, pick them up, and be on your way. So we're adjusting our parking structures as well to become this new pickup curb. So that's one thing we're also looking at for mitigation.
That's active now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just drive in down World Way and you'll see signs for Terminal B pickup, Tom Bradley's Terminal B. You just drive in, lower level of parking structure 3, and your person goes to the car and then you're on your way. Mm-hmm.
Just out of curiosity, when this is all in full operation, do you have any estimation on the vehicular reduction in the horseshoe? I mean, is it going to be smooth sailing through there all the time?
I can't remember the number off the top of my head, but it's in our EIR document, which is online. Okay. But no, there is a significant decrease we expect. Removing a lot of those modes of transportation will assist with that. Overall, private vehicles is 60% of our traffic flow. Uber, Lyft, and taxi, 25%. So taking those vehicles out, you bring out a significant number of traffic. So if you think about it down the road, if we have 100,000 cars a day, 25% of that are just Uber, Lyft, and taxi. You're taking out 25,000 vehicles a day. So you can kind of get the idea of where we're going.
One of the problems with Uber in particular and Lyft was before there was the pen, the lot that the drivers were stored until they were needed to then waste their time going through the central terminal. And what the drivers would do, there was a whole thing where they would like cherry pick the riders, they'd call the riders, they'd find out. I mean, I didn't like driving to Orange County, so I just never picked up at the airport. But a lot of drivers, you know, if they didn't like taking somebody over to one of the hotels or something local, so they would
cancel their ride.
Cancel it, and somebody would have to wait 3 or 4 rides, or some of the riders do stupid things like they should have a 6 or 8 person car that can take 12 pieces of luggage, and somebody wants to take an Elantra and try to put 4 to 6 bags in there and 4 people. And it's like, guys, there's no way. You need a real taxi with a van or the right kind of vehicle. The riders don't understand, but now with the new PIN system, has there been anything about, from what I've been reading on the different discussion boards, there doesn't seem to be anybody that's figured out how to start up with a new route of cheating. In other words, you walk up to your car, you say your PIN number 1234, the driver puts in 1234, and if you're going up the street to the Hilton, that's where you're going.
And we work very closely with Uber and Lyft on that. When we know it's happening, we can report them. As I mentioned, we're in daily coordination with them pretty much at this point. I had a driver pull up, and the next person came to the vehicle, and he's like, well, where are they going? And they said, you know, down to, I don't know, Culver City or somewhere. Oh, no, I want a far ride. I'm sorry, if you're not picking up the rider, you have to leave the lot. So we made that driver leave the lot. I don't know if he came back, but you can't cherry pick in this situation. You get in and go, and if you're going to cherry pick, we're not going to allow you to pick up. And so we've been working on that. The other issue is surge pricing. So the first few days of the lot, what we saw, 80% of the Uber and Lyft drivers drive for the same, they drive for both. So when Uber surged their prices, all of the drivers wanted to drive for Uber, which brought a loss of supply to Lyft. So that's why we had a line of 100, 200 people and no cars, because we didn't have anyone driving for Lyft at that point. So we have worked with Uber and Lyft to make sure that we have that supply of vehicles no matter what the pricing is. We can't control as an airport the pricing model that they utilize, but we can work on is making sure that we have supply, especially heading into the holidays. So we've been very closely working on that as well. Yeah.
Could you share what's the range of daily traffic volume in the airport loop road?
Mm-hmm.
And second question, what's the composition of commercial vehicles versus private vehicles?
Mm-hmm.
And third, what's volume to be shifted to APM?
So yeah, I mean, I think I answered that a little bit already, but during peak operations, we have over 100,000 vehicles a day. That's on average. Every day we're seeing 100,000 vehicles a day. So the Uber Lyft taxis, 25% of that. Rental car shuttles take up about 3% of our overall traffic numbers. Hotel and parking shuttle operators, 1 to 2%. The rental car operations are the most frustrating because they're the larger vehicles. They're the ones blocking the curb, cutting you off, going from one lane all the way to the other to get out. So by moving them out, even though it's only 3% of our overall vehicles, it's a significant impact in opening up curbside boarding area and clearing up the traffic. So those are kind of the overall numbers for those type of vehicles. Again, with the, I don't remember the actual number of vehicles reduced with the people mover, but right now, just with moving Uber and Lyft out, we've seen a 15% decrease daily on the number of vehicles entering our terminal area. So if you keep going on, you can add more on out of that.
So what percentage of the airport passengers do you anticipate are coming via rail, either the Crenshaw or the Green Line?
I don't have that projection. Do you know what it would be?
Crenshaw's line's not even open.
Yeah, I mean, even we have the G shuttle bus that picks up at Imperial in Aviation for the Green Line, but I don't even know the passenger numbers for that. A lot of it is employees. So
well, I meant when the Crenshaw line is fully operational in the system in 2024.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you know?
Yeah, I don't have the numbers offhand either.
On Sunday, the Lyft pickup comes to the airport, and I was cautiously optimistic. It worked really well.
Sunday night?
We got the PIN number, we showed the driver, whereas the Sunday night on Veterans weekend.
Yes.
And it was a nightmare getting into the airport on Friday of that holiday, which was just because of the holiday. But the PIN system worked much better because when we tried it before there was the PIN number system, and it was all jumbled together. It's exactly right. Somebody would grab the car and try to hop in. There was confusion of whose car is who, but it worked.
Good. See, it works.
I'll be there. I have no choice.
Yeah, no, it's a process, and every day we're adding on. We just added canopies for shade and rain coverage. So that was a complaint early on. We had the umbrellas out there that really don't do anything. So we've now added canopies, temporary canopies, and further down the road we have to go through permitting to put more solid structures in place, but we now do have shade and rain protection. So.
And your color coding also.
And color coding, yes.
I'll be there Thanksgiving weekend, so I don't have a choice.
Okay, great. I hope it goes well.
Well, it looks like we've answered almost all of the questions.
Fantastic.
And, you know, the big mystery will be the new way the Lyft drivers and Uber drivers figure out how to cheat to game the system. But I used to, for the last couple of years, the gaming was incredible. They got the magic tree in the pickup lot where you knew how to tinker with the electronics. There was all sorts of fun things. So hopefully with a balanced system of you're first, you get a number, go, leave, people come and go, and you know, we'll see the winding on the discussion boards, but somehow I think we'll have some success.
Great.
Anyways, I want to thank both of you for a wonderful presentation. We will have have a video. Tony will probably have the video, maybe. Tony is our videographer. We'll have the video in maybe like a week or so. And we will send a distribution out that includes the PowerPoints. I need to get a working PowerPoint from Paul because it doesn't want to go down from Dropbox. It just says it's corrupt.
Okay.
So as soon as we get that, I know your PowerPoint's saved and it works well. And it's beautiful.
Yeah, and
I printed it out.
on the fact sheet, on the bottom right-hand corner of the front page is the website where you can go learn more about all the components. You can sign up for email updates, watch the video again if you'd like, and then we have construction progress photos as well. So really great tool to stay informed.
One last question. When is the waterfall and the tropical rainforest, like in Singapore airport, going to be built?
It'll be a while before we get that, but we're working towards creating a very world-class experience.
I want to wish everybody a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we have our next meeting December 12th with Regional Rail, Metro Regional Rail, and we will be distributing the meeting PowerPoints as soon as I get one of them and the video. So if you have any questions, we're happy to answer them. Meanwhile, we'll also give you the videos and the PowerPoints. So thank you everybody for coming. Appreciate it, and have a great holiday.